analyze your response in those situations where you shut down. Meaning, for most people, in front of a crowd like this, if I'm like, come on up front, you freeze, right? So let's pick one of you. You ready? Let me see. I'm just joking, but you felt it, right? The finger pointed, both of you were just like, like that. Now, I just pointed to make an example, but say I were to bring any of you up, the finger, as soon as it stops, it's like Negan in Walking Dead. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, right? You're like, oh! But if you actually think about it, what's so scary about it? Like, why is it that our emotional response is so intense? Like, it literally feels like we're about to die. It feels like Negan. It's like, here, come on. You're like realistically, you come up here in front, what's the worst that happens? Nothing. So if you audit the situation, what's scary about it doesn't come from out here. What's scary about it comes from in here. And it's what this external situation is activating within you. Right? The same way on a more, you could say, smaller scale, I'm sure you've had it where you're kind of in a really bad mood and things have been piling up, and some person says this one thing that throws you off the handle. You're just like, ah, like freak out, right? It wasn't the thing, it's what it poked at inside. Now what people do is we're so obsessed with the external because it's easier to see, it's more tangible. But in these situations where you're like, you know, is my response appropriate to reality? No. It's much more beneficial to look inside and say, well, what's getting poked at? What's getting activated? And where did this come from? Why is my emotional response not aligned with reality? Is it 100% comfortable to say, come up front? Of course not. It's probably more comfortable to be sitting down in the crowd. But it shouldn't be life or death. Right? Same with putting yourself out there publicly. The same with meeting someone. The same with networking. For real. Even just now at my hotel, I'm not staying here, at a different hotel, I was in the elevator and there was a Kellogg's cereal convention at the hotel. Everyone's gonna go, what hotel was that? And I was in the elevator and it was stopping at every floor, and everyone in the elevator was part of this Kellogg's convention. They all had the little badges saying Kellogg's, da-da-da. And one lady in the elevator was pretty chatty. I started talking to people, and most people were kind of responding, and there was one who was just really shy and shut down. And I was in that elevator a while, keep trying to talk to her, and she was like, yeah, and kind of looking down and stifled. I'm like, that there is that perfect example. It's like people are even trying to encourage, like, hey, come on, hey, talk, we're here for the convention. Just can't. Well, where did that come from? It's not the elevator situation that's that scary. It's something triggered within. So you can audit in your life all the instances where your response was disproportionate to reality, and then trace it back to where did this come from? What are the experiences? When was perhaps a previous time I experienced this? When was the first time I experienced this? And go deeper. This is ultimately what self-awareness really means. Like the true sense of self-awareness. It also means getting to know your shadow. Right? If you're familiar with the work of Carl Jung, it's get to know your shadow. Identifying when you get triggered is key. And another question you can ask yourself, on top of when is my response disproportionate to reality, is who is in control? When you are triggered, you're no longer in control. It's whatever's triggered that takes over. And that's the difference between real emotions and triggered emotions. Let it land. Real emotions, you're feeling them. They're healthy. That's your emotional guidance system. That's how you know how to navigate this world. But when you're triggered, it hijacks you. Literally. It's like a quadricep mushroom. Now it's you. And this is the other scary part. There are visceral moments like it takes over and you see it, but then there's also this subtle state of being triggered. For example, very few people can sit home alone and do nothing. They can't. Notice your habits. As soon as you go home, first thing you do is maybe TV, phone, music, talk to someone, some kind of distraction. When do you actually sit and just be in silence, nothing? Same with at a restaurant, right? You're having dinner with someone goes to the bathroom, first thing, phone. We can never just be. Even just sitting in silence for 10 minutes doing nothing, for most people is close to impossible. It's like torture. Well, that's interesting. Your response is disproportionate to reality then. That's getting triggered. Now, if that subtle triggeredness is running you, you have to also ask yourself, well, who's in control of my life? And this is where it's the difference between being at the cause, being proactive, and ultimately living a life of your own design comes into play versus living in reaction. Living in reaction, trying to avoid getting triggered, trying to numb getting triggered, well, then you're no longer the driver. And that's where you hear that famous saying, right? In life, if you don't have a plan for yourself, someone else has a plan for you, and we always think it's another person or the government or whatnot. But no, you know who has a plan for you? Past trauma. And it is not a good plan. For real. And not only will it hijack your expression of self, will it hijack your mind, get you to play small, get you to engage in all sorts of toxic activities from numbing to distraction, which ultimately all stem from you trying to change how you feel. Think about it. Most of what we do isn't because we feel inspired to do it. It's because we want to change how we feel. I don't feel good, so I'm going to drink to numb the feeling. I'm going to smoke to numb the feeling. I'm going to do drugs to numb the feeling. I'm going to eat to numb the feeling. I don't feel good, so I'm going to put some TV to ignore and escape the feeling, to distract myself. I don't feel good, and this is another one, so I'm going to try to express it. Interesting. Now, different advice for different levels, like with the example, sometimes expression is great. But if you think of expression, it's not letting go, because the intention is to get rid of what you're feeling. It's why, let's just say you're really angry, sometimes you might feel the urge to punch a wall. You're like, oh, express it! Well, did it work? No. Same with people who get road rage, like screaming, rah, like expressing it never works. Otherwise, every single person who'd experience road rage would be enlightened. It doesn't work. And more often than not, it makes it worse. Because then you express it, what happens? It triggers the other person. They express it back, triggers you more, and it's toxic. So then if you audit, like, whoa, most of my actions are all designed to run away from what I'm feeling. What's going on? Who's in control here? And then it's not even what you're really feeling, it's triggered feelings. And this is important to understand too. More often than not, they blend together. Like the example of, hey, come up here in front. As I said, it's perhaps not totally chill to be in front, but it shouldn't be life or death. Meaning, if we take fear or anxiety, here's the realistic amount that you should experience. But then here's what you actually experience. So there's this amount of real, this amount of triggered. When you let go, you're left with what's real. But they blend in. And once more, it's why it's so important to ask yourself, is my response appropriate to reality, yes or no? Now, when you are triggered, though, it's not bad. Meaning, don't try to shield yourself from ever getting triggered, because then you're also living in a reaction. When you are triggered, what it means is something that was previously deeply buried within you, out of your awareness, in your subconscious. Something that was labeled as so unacceptable that even being aware of it would threaten your survival is coming closer to the surface. That's why it's so triggering, right? For example, say, hypothetically, and this is a gross generalization, say in school, as a kid, you did a presentation and everyone laughed, right? That's the situation. The way you might have interpreted that with your limited perception as a kid was, I'm not accepted right now in the classroom. Now, as a kid, your world is the classroom. You don't think beyond the classroom. That's all that matters. Rewind time, think about it, right? You're 4, 3, 5, 6. Your only concern is, where do I stand in the classroom? Who are my friends? Am I cool? Am I popular? Do they like me? Do I fit in? Do you think of your country? Do you think of the world? No, you're just like, classroom is the world. So if you don't fit in the classroom, from your perspective, you don't fit in the world. So in a way, it's the same as being completely ostracized from the world, kicked out, death. So it feels like, oh, I'm going to die. Me right now making a fool of myself as a kid in front of the class equals my survival's at risk. So in order to survive, let's forever avoid situations like this, and let's disown the part of me that is expressive. That's how you cope. Now here you are as an adult, looking at the situation, it's not that bad. But emotionally, what that kid experienced resurfaced. And it's actually amplified due to the compounded years of resistance around it. That's what gets triggered. Now, why do I say it's not bad? Because now it's easier to catch. The biggest challenge with inner work and letting go is identifying what to let go of, by the way. It's not the actual letting go. Letting go, yes, it's simple but very hard to do. It's not easy. But the first obstacle is identifying what's buried in your subconscious, what's actually running you. You can't just think about it consciously. What's holding me back? What's holding me back? No, you got to find ways to poke your own buttons and bring that up. But life will do that to you when you get triggered. Hey, if something's buried down there, I get triggered, it's up here, easier to catch up here than down there. Now, understanding that, you can also take it one step further and proactively trigger yourself. This is a formula I teach my clients, which goes action, trigger, release, repeat. Take an action that triggers you, let go, and repeat till it no longer triggers you. Now, that's one of many. You have to also combine it with shadow questions, trail of whys. There's so many processes, but that's a key formula that you can follow. And the best way to create your own action, trigger, release, repeat missions or exercises or challenges is to identify your ideal life, your win in life, which you better have. Everyone knows what they don't want, but very few people know what they want. For real. Let this land. If all of you I were to ask you, okay, say right now a genie appeared, not Will Smith, Robin Williams, gives you a wish saying, okay, from now on, from this day forth, everything will go according to plan. Everything will work out for you. So it happened. Genie gone. We fast forward time 5 years. What does that look like? Everything going perfectly according to plan. 5 years from now. What do you look like? Where are you at? What does your life look like? Can you describe it in detail? A typical day in the life. You wake up in the morning. What's it like? Most people can't answer this. They're like, well, the genie would remove my anxiety. Okay, well, how would that translate into your life physically? Well, I just wouldn't have anxiety. Okay, but then what would change? Say you don't have anxiety, now what? You better know what that win is. And once you have it, that's your compass. And then anytime you act in alignment with that, it's going to trigger the resistance. And this is the beauty between action and letting go. Letting go isn't just you isolating yourself in your mom's basement doing meditations. It's inner work and action at the same time, and there's a synergy that happens. I'm taking right action, aligned with my ideal life, aligned with authenticity, which triggers all the resistance to that. As it gets triggered, I let go. The more I let go, the more I can act in alignment. And that's how you do it. Okay. Ooh, well, that's a good question. So if you get triggered in public, what I tell my clients is a few things. One, do a release. So let this land. When you're triggered is the best time to let go. The best time, because it's right there in your awareness. I would combine it when I say do a release with one of my guided meditations, because that allows you to go deeper. So literally, whenever you're triggered, I tell this, like, go to the bathroom, do a release. You can just say, go to the bathroom, and then go do a release in the bathroom. I had a client do this. This is a few years ago. He worked at a desk job in London, and he would get triggered a lot by his coworkers. That's what really kept him stuck. And I said, from now on, whenever you're triggered, bathroom release. And he started doing it. He would go to the bathroom. They probably thought, like, why does he have to go to the bathroom so much? He'd sit in the stall, put his headphones on, and do the meditation and release. Now, the comeback to that is, well, what if people say it's weird or think it's weird? Now, this is nuanced. On one hand, yes, there can be some situations like that, and I'll give you answer number 2. But for the most part, this is where you must also ask yourself, so what? What's more important? And this is where you have to start valuing your own well-being. So what if your coworkers think, oh, they're going to the bathroom again? What? Doesn't matter. My well-being comes first. This is more important than what anyone thinks. Same with someone's like walking down the street on the sidewalk. Oh, anxiety. We'll sit on the sidewalk, do a release. What if people walking stare and judge? So what? What's more important? Now, say in some situations you really can't. What I would say is, number 1, do the first part of what I take my clients through in the meditation, where you want to bring your awareness to the base of your spine, in the body, and start taking some deep breaths from the base of your spine. This is important. Sounds simple, but it's very powerful. Well, right now, there's a little voice yapping about inside. You can visualize it moving down, where your nose is at the base of your spine, your ears are down there, that little voice is down there, and you take some deep breaths from there. This grounds you in the body, and more importantly, gets you out of the mind. Because when you're triggered, that little chatterbox inside is going to yap about and think of many things that fuel it. You want to get out of here. You're triggered like, oh my God, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Let's take some of the energy out of the mind. I'll still do this to this day sometimes. Deep breaths, base of the spine, immediately grounds me, and then do your best. And then at your soonest opportunity, then do a release. Like when you get home after, recall the experience, then do the meditation. But those are the go-to ways. Meditation, and if not, base of your spine. But you really want to sink into this. And one more thing I will tell all of you, and actually we can do this now, is as a little exercise, to also notice the more subtle state of triggeredness, also comparable to what we call a background refrigerator hum or an AC. Like right now, if we're all very quiet, listen. There's like a hum going on. Just always been there. We just never really noticed it till we were quiet. Let's do this. For this one here, close your eyes and just notice whatever comes up as I guide you through it. Just a few minutes. Okay, so start taking some deep breaths, and let's do the base of your spine. So bring your awareness down your spine, that little voice going around in circles, getting quieter as it's moving down, and quieter, all the way down to the base of your spine. Your nose is down there, your ears are down there. And let's do 3 deep breaths from the base of your spine. Inhale in, and exhale. Your nose is down there once more. Deep inhale, and exhale. Letting things slow down. And one more. Inhale, and exhale. And what I want you to do now is just let your mind drift and notice whatever comes up. When you hear me ask you, how does it feel to be you right now in this moment? And just breathe into whatever comes up. How does it feel to be the person you are in this moment, sitting here in this room, living the life you're living? What comes up hearing this? What's it like being you? Having gone through everything you've gone through? And is there perhaps any resistance? Any resistance around who you are? Perhaps a pull inside saying, I need to be better. I need to do more. And audit the different areas of your life. Is there any resistance around your job and financial situation? Any resistance towards what is? It's not enough. More. Any resistance towards your health, the way you look? I need to be better looking. I need to be healthier. I need this. This energy pulling you away from who you are and what is. Is there any resistance towards your friends, your relationship situation? Needs to change. Need this. Any resistance towards who you are? And any self-attack perhaps associated to this? Judging yourself, being hard on yourself, beating yourself up. And what comes up when you hear me ask you, can you let go of being so hard on yourself all the time? Can you let go of resisting who you are? Can you embrace what is? Can you let go of this force pulling you away from you? And take a few deep breaths and come back when you're ready. Now this was just 0.0001% of scratching the surface, but whatever came up, I would write it down. It shows you, right? You hear, hey, own who you are, embrace who you are. You're right, you're right. But you got to dive deep and really do a pass. You can be like, because a lot of it is we try to BS ourselves. We also call this spiritual bypassing. I'm good enough, I'm good enough. But when you actually sink in, it's like, I want more, I need to look this way, I need to be this way, I need this. Any force pulling you away from you, let go. That doesn't mean don't have goals, but it's also the difference between having a certain intention versus a need and desire. Meaning, most people only take action in reaction to not feeling good enough. Another sign, trauma's pulling your strings and has a plan for you. As opposed, I say it's out of desperation versus inspiration. And a lot of people believe that, well, if I feel good enough and I am good enough, why would I do anything? What would motivate me to take action? Well, why do you assume you wouldn't be motivated? Just because you feel good enough doesn't mean that life's over. You're still alive till you die. Like say a genie appeared once more, Robin Williams, you're all good enough, and you all realize it 100%. We're all like, yay, we're good enough. We're still alive. There's time to pass now, years to go. Does that mean you're just going to sit still? I'm good enough till I die. No, you're now what it means is you're going to partake in this experience of life from that foundation. And then it's inspiration. It's okay, how do I feel inspired to act? What do I feel inspired to do during this experience of life till I die? And what you'll also notice is that the driver behind action will tend to be grounded in being of service. Why? Because if you already are fulfilled and you feel good enough and there's nothing missing, nothing to get, then what makes the experience of life fulfilling? Being of service. For real. Funny enough, that's why I do what I do. It's of course to help you, but selfishly, it's not even for you. It's because helping you makes me feel good. That's purpose. It's what tickles your pickle. What makes you feel good? What makes you feel fulfilled? The most fulfilled. Because think about it. It's like, okay, I'm good enough, but I'm still alive now. I have to wait all these years till I die. Hopefully all these years. It's like in the news tomorrow. No, it's like hopefully. Well, to milk this experience, it's what we talked about, circling back. Be the hero. Stop holding back and follow inner fulfillment. And it tends to be rooted in being of service, and there are many ways to be of service. Don't also fall for the conditioning. Everyone's like, I want to be a coach to be of service. No, literally, the majority of jobs is you being of service. So find what fulfills you. And it all comes down to, once more, the foundation is being good enough. The foundation is abundance. It's not this goal you achieve. It's not the destination. That's the conditioning. It's not the destination. It's the starting point.